Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and we got the backhoe on the tractor. We're gonna come out here and do some digging and some talking, hopefully get some work done. My kind of day. So what we've got up here is a bunch of mostly junk wood, but some of it is still good usable stuff. And I need to sort through it and take the good into one pile and burn the junk. And the reason some of this is junk is a lot of these trees were dead and rotten at the time, and whenever I kind of piled stuff there that was too big to split with my little homemade splitter, stuff like that, and now it's turned into a mess. So I've got to get that sorted out. And another thing to think about is my beehives here. I'm going to be doing burning down here, but I don't want to smoke out my bees too much. So here's the Sweet Stingers boxes. So the bees are active, look like they're doing okay. I've not opened the boxes since Justin left from dropping those bees off, but we'll be doing that soon. So anyway, that's probably enough talking. Let's get to digging. I was trying to be thoughtful about where I put this burn hole, and finally narrowed it down to this spot right here. And then as soon as I started digging, I realized that I had forgot about the tree that used to be over here. Probably a little over a year ago, I cut down a really big cottonwood that was about 30 or 40 feet from this spot, and the roots from that tree are so thick that it made the digging pretty tough. I've got some comments asking me why I bother with a burn pit. Why don't you just burn your brush right on top of the ground? And you could do that. The problem is we get a lot of high winds around here, and it might be like right now the wind's pretty calm where I'm standing, but I can see the windmills spinning down here. So it might be calm most of the day with just enough wind to turn that, and I burn all day and it's fine. But that fire might still be smoldering later in the day, and I go in the house and I'm done working, and the wind picks up and carries that across and lights a field on fire or whatever. And that's what I'm trying to avoid primarily. And it works. I think it's worth it to dig a burn pit. Even though it's more convenient to just burn on top of the ground, we're reducing the fire risk. And also, if you ever burn any like wood that has nails in it, or, which mainly I just burn brush, you know, I'm not putting trash in there. But if you burn anything that doesn't completely burn up, then when you fill your hole back in later, you don't have to worry about cleaning up all that mess or residue on the ground. Besides fighting with the tree roots, I had another complication in that the ground was muddy. Now, muddy ground is not more difficult to dig, but the problem with my little bucket on this backhoe is that the clay, which is primarily what we have here, you can see the red tone, all that clay just sticks in the bucket. So I'm constantly trying to shake it out of the bucket, or I've got a piece of rebar in the tractor that I'm trying to dig that mud out with. And I've already drilled holes in the back side of the bucket to try to prevent that vacuum effect. I've tried coating the inside of the bucket, and pretty much no matter what I do, that's something that I just have to fight with. And it still works, but if you're already using a small bucket and then you cut the capacity in half because it's packed full, it really slows you down. I was really having trouble pushing this pile with the tractor, and I'm digging ruts with my tires as I try to push into it, and then the mud or this wet clay is just so heavy that I could barely even lift a full bucket of it. So, it's doing the job, but it's just slow. So, you'll see here in a minute that the next time I need to move that material out of the way, I go and get the skid loader. And normally, I could push my material far enough out just using the backhoe, but in this case, I'm trying to make all my spoils land in the same spot, which means that I didn't have enough room after a little while. When you're digging a very big hole with a little backhoe like this, it feels painfully slow, and I had a lot of time to just sit there and think, and I've been contemplating recording a separate video just about the pros and cons of buying a tractor backhoe, and I've got a lot to say about that, so I think I'll save it for another video, but this was definitely a slow process. Probably a lot of you that grew up in different areas find the whole idea of a burn hole to be odd, but it's all I ever knew growing up. Now, at the house we live at now, we have trash service, and I don't put anything in these burn holes except for brush, or maybe some wood scraps from time to time, but pretty much it's just clean wood that I burn here. But it's a different story when I was growing up 30 years ago out in the country, and there was no trash service or anywhere that I was aware of to even take trash. So we burned all our trash in a burn hole. So it was just commonplace that everybody had a burn hole. Hopefully the EPA isn't listening, but I don't know what else people were supposed to do. Well, I spent 4 hours digging this. I worked on it from about 11 till noon. Then I went and ran errands and came back out, and I've been digging on it again from 5 until 8. And I think that's big enough that I'll be able to burn in here for quite a while before I have to, fill it back in and create another hole. And that's my goal, is I want to be able to use the same hole for a long time. Now, I was intentional about putting all the dirt on the uphill side, even though that slowed it down. I could have been faster if I was splitting half of what I dug to each side, but I like to have access to the burn hole on 3 sides for loading material, cleaning up, or you have something that's longer than the hole and is sticking out the end, you can clean up those pieces and put them back in. And mainly what I wanted was a dam on the uphill side so that the rain doesn't wash into this hole and fill it up. It's going to a little bit, but I prefer not to have just a flood running down into it. So it's a good way to spend the day, and sometime soon I'll have a video building an enormous bonfire out of junk wood. But I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.